The Champions League semifinals is back again, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions for the second leg fixtures. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions for both of the semifinal second leg games between Real Madrid and Bayern Munich and PSG against Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, if you guys do agree with my predictions, remember to leave a comment down below. But even if you disagree with my predictions, remember to leave your score predictions in the comment down below, and obviously I will be replying to every single comment. So without further ado, let's get right into this prediction. Starting off with the first semi-final fixture on Tuesday night, we have PSG against Borussia Dortmund. First, we have to look back at the game last week where Borussia Dortmund were playing at home and they ended up beating PSG 1-0. A lot of people really underestimated Borussia Dortmund in this game, even though they were playing at home, which I thought was a little bit strange. Yes, PSG are the more favorited team. Their squad value is much higher than Borussia Dortmund. But we all know that Borussia Dortmund at home, it's a very tough stadium to go to and win, let alone draw. And obviously, this proved correct as Borussia Dortmund did end up winning this game 1-0. As for which team was better in the game, to be fair, it was pretty even. Obviously, in the first half, both teams were struggling a little bit offensively, but Borussia Dortmund, Nicholas Füllkrug scored an absolutely incredible goal to put them 1-0 up. And PSG, yes, in the second half, they had loads and loads of chances. They were hitting the post multiple times in a row, but they couldn't find the back of the net. Borussia Dortmund held on very well to that 1-0 lead. They defended Mbappe, they defended Dembele very well, and obviously they did end up winning the game by that one goal. Now, obviously, Borussia Dortmund do have the advantage as they are up by 1 goal on aggregate, but the game is being played in France, obviously at the Parc des Princes. And in my opinion, I think PSG are definitely the favorites in this game. Obviously, I'm not going to completely write off Borussia Dortmund because I've been doing that for the whole entire Champions League. And that's why in last week's prediction, I actually did predict that Borussia Dortmund were going to win that game. Because every single game they play, I keep predicting that Borussia Dortmund is going to lose. And they keep proving everybody wrong. And they did that again last week. But this week, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to win. Technically, it doesn't matter if they win, and even a draw would make them advance to the finals as they are up by 1 goal on aggregate. But in my opinion, I do think PSG, with how strong their attack was, yes, last week they weren't really playing that well and they were pretty unlucky as they did hit the post multiple times. But this week, I don't think they will make those same mistakes. And for that reason, I do think PSG are more likely to win this game. In my opinion, I do think that PSG are going to come out in this game much more aggressive and more attacking. As obviously Borussia Dortmund do have that 1 goal advantage on aggregate, I think they will play much more defensive in this game. But that is where I think PSG will be able to come out on top with multiple goals. Because yes, Borussia Dortmund do have good defenders. Obviously, we see players like Mats Hummels, very experienced defenders, players like Nico Schlotterbeck, young defenders that are very good, very strong. But PSG just have so much pace in that front line with players like Mbappe, Barcola, Dembele. And yes, in the last game, Borussia Dortmund were pretty good at defending these players. But in this game, obviously playing at home, I do think PSG will win this game. And I do think they will probably advance to the finals. Obviously, I would love it if Borussia Dortmund could win this game, and they're definitely the underdogs out of the other teams that are still left in this competition. But in my opinion, I do think PSG will win this game. I think they will score multiple goals, and for that reason, I think the final scoreline will be 3-1 and PSG will advance to the finals. Moving on to the next semi-final game on Wednesday, we have Real Madrid against Bayern Munich. Obviously, if we look back to the first game, in my opinion, it was really a game of 2 halves. I thought Bayern Munich were much better in the first half. Obviously, they did have that home advantage, and they came out in this game much more aggressive, much more attacking, and to be fair, Real Madrid could barely get the ball out of their half. But even with all this pressure from Bayern Munich in the first half, Real Madrid did still end up scoring that early goal by Vinicius Jr. in the 24th minute. Now, in the second half of that game, Real Madrid did play much better. They were connecting more passes, they were playing much more attacking. But Bayern Munich ended up scoring 2 goals within 4 minutes of each other. A beautiful solo goal by Leroy Sané and also a penalty by Harry Kane. And finally, Real Madrid did get the equalizer in the last 10 minutes by a penalty from Vinicius Jr. So this game as a whole was very 50-50. Both teams had great chances at different points throughout the game. But in my opinion, Real Madrid now playing at home, they will definitely have the advantage over Bayern Munich. I'm not saying that Real Madrid are the favorites technically, because in my opinion, I do think Bayern Munich are a very, very strong team. And yes, they didn't win the Bundesliga this season, which is very, very surprising considering that they've won it for the last 11 years. But I still think Bayern Munich have a very strong team. And Thomas Tuchel, yes, he may have not had the best first season with Bayern Munich, and he may be leaving at the end of the season. But in the Champions League, we know from previous years with Chelsea that he is a great manager. In my opinion, I do think in the first match, Bayern Munich probably should have won. But the defender Kim Min-jae, who I love as a Napoli fan, but he did make a few crucial mistakes leading to the first goal and even leading to the penalty. So if he didn't make those mistakes, in my opinion, I think Bayern Munich would be up on aggregate. But obviously they are tied, and because of that, Real Madrid are definitely coming into this game with more confidence. Bayern Munich also still have a few injuries in their lineup. We see the likes of Kingsley Coman and a few other players that are looking like they will miss this game. But I still think they have a very, very strong squad. And Real Madrid, yes, they also have a strong squad. But in my opinion, I think Bayern Munich actually have a more complete squad than Real Madrid. But if you look at the history of these two clubs and what the Champions League means to them, that is where Real Madrid does exceed the likes of Bayern Munich. Now, obviously, I'm not saying the Real Madrid squad from history has a lot of relevance to their squad now, but that history of the club, it just feels like it gives the players more of a reason to perform well. And we saw that with Real Madrid 2 years ago in the Champions League, and I think we are seeing it again. We've seen Real Madrid against RB Leipzig, against Manchester City, and even in the group stages where they weren't playing particularly well, they weren't playing good in the attack, in the defense, and even if they're having an off game, they still end up coming on top, because that is what Real Madrid does. That is what Carlo Ancelotti gets his men to do. And for that reason, yes, even in the first leg, if Bayern Munich were the better team, Real Madrid did score the 2 goals, and now they're tied on aggregate. And now playing at home in the Santiago Bernabeu, I do think Real Madrid are more likely to win this game. One reason why I think that Bayern Munich could win this game is that if they don't win this game and they get knocked out of the Champions League, that would mean that they would be finishing the season with 0 trophies, which is obviously a very poor season for the likes of Bayern Munich, who for the last 11 years have won the Bundesliga, the DFB Pokal, and also a couple Champions Leagues here and there. So I think that because of the fact that they can't win any other trophy this season, they will play really, really hard to try and win this Champions League, to at least get 1 trophy this season. Whereas Real Madrid have already secured the La Liga title, and they will obviously be winning that trophy. But in saying this, Real Madrid are playing at the Santiago Bernabeu, who we all know is one of the greatest football stadiums in history. And with the history that they have, I do think that they will be able to win this game. I think the scoreline will be 2-1 for Real Madrid, and they will be playing in the finals. And that is the end of this video. Those are my Champions League semi-final predictions for the second leg between Real Madrid and Bayern Munich and PSG against Borussia Dortmund. In my opinion, the Champions League final will be between PSG and Real Madrid. I think this will be an incredible final, but even if it's not between these teams and one or both of the German teams, Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich, end up advancing to the final, I do still think it will be very, very entertaining. Obviously, if you guys do agree with my predictions, remember to leave a comment down below. But even if you disagree with my predictions and you think either Borussia Dortmund or Bayern Munich will be advancing to the semi-finals, again, remember to leave your score predictions in the comments down below. And obviously, if you did enjoy this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for more videos.